Welcome to Estate Talks. I'm George Compton, the publisher of Executorium.com. Today we ask, what is a certified probate expert? Well, we have Bill Gross of eXp Realty to answer. Bill, what is a certified probate expert?
Well, thanks, George. There are a number of different certifications in real estate. Almost all of them created by companies that offer to train and offer certification. The most common or the most popular that I'm aware of is the Certified Probate Expert designation by Probate Mastery. And in my experience, having personally taken 5 of them, it's the most comprehensive of the certifications. And that's not just here's how to get business, but it's also here's how to better treat customers so that you'll build a business in the long run. So again, it's a designation by a company, Probate Mastery, but I believe they also point their students in the direction of understanding the process that executives go through and how to serve them better.
Thank you for that. Bill is a realtor and an investor. He is also host of Probate Weekly and admin and leader in the affiliated Facebook group. In that group, all sorts of probate and executor and estate administration questions get covered. To what Bill just said, knowing that environment, helps certified probate experts, understand that world. Bill is also a teacher and a leader in probate real estate and speaks a lot about the value of a CPE to an executor. We have a longer format video that Bill and I have done in the past, one of our earlier videos where we do a deeper dive into CPEs and how they can benefit estates and executors. But we want to keep this short format. So, Bill, what are 3 benefits of having a CPE work with an estate?
Well, one is you're dealing with a professional who is committed to being a professional, right? Everybody knows 5 or 6 real estate agents, but not all have been through the unique legal process and emotional process that an executor might be going through. So that's number one. Number 2 would be that a CPE is part of a network that can bring more resources to help you. So whether it be physical resources, cleaning the house out, staging the house, dealing with collectibles, moving cars, guns, cleaning the house, rats, rodents, termites, legal issues, working with attorneys. Different CPEs bring different resources to bear. And as an executor, you want to make sure you get a team that can help you. And part of that's bringing a Rolodex and a list of resources to help you with your business.
Excellent. What are some of the challenges, and you alluded to a couple of them or several of them just now, but what are some of the challenges particular to probate real estate?
Well, number one is, and often overlooked, is often the person who's managing the estate, the executor, or sometimes the administrator, has never bought or sold property before. And so as a real estate agent, I've been in the business 36 years and I've, sold and been involved with thousands of properties. I have to remember that my customer in this case may never have bought a house or sold a house, which is unusual. So that creates a whole different set of dynamics of learning to explain the process and developing trust, because the customers really, as a real estate agent, I have a fiduciary responsibility to my customer because I have a lot of responsibility on their behalf of being honest and integrous. And they have to have that relationship, and trust has to be there. So when I have a customer who I've bought and sold several houses for, that's easier. But most commonly on an executor, first time, typically, we don't have that history and relationship. So that's one challenge that's often overlooked. A second is that the executor may or may not understand the business relationship and just see it as, hey, I have to get rid of this house and move on with my life, which is true. The agent is in the business as a professional, and so they want to create good relations that will lead to more business. And so I think as an executor, your opportunity is, if you do a good job, can reflect well on that real estate agent, help them get more business in the long run, it makes you more valuable as a customer. And so you are, in my mind, as executor, you are running a business. The business is the disposition of the estate. And if you take a more business-like approach to it, then you can be more effective when working with other professionals.
Thank you for that. What estate administrative challenges might a certified probate expert help an executor and estate with outside of real estate?
Well, I mean, the process can be overwhelming. Within real estate can be overwhelming. Outside of the real estate, it's just a never-ending supply of potential problems, securing the property, removing squatters or occupants, maybe a family member, maybe not. Um, Maybe removing other unwanted items in the house, living or dead. Could be animals, rodents, pests. It could be junk. It could be dangerous junk. It could be guns. I've had to remove unregistered guns. It could be residue from drugs. Um, Literally, I had a case where the decedent passed in the property and was not found for 7 days. And without getting too graphic, it does create incredible odors that require hazmat level removal processes. And so having the contacts to get that done efficiently, cost effectively, um, I always tell other people in my business, I coach real estate agents to do this nationally. I tell them that no more realtors complain about all the problems in an estate. Real professional probate experts brag about how many problems they solve in each transaction, because that's really what we're looking to do, is to help our customers that way.
Interesting. So this is the way I look at it from an executor's side, having been an executor and approaching executorium.com as executor facing, being in an executor's shoes, having someone on your team who knows the ropes isn't a bad thing. Knowing those pain points, there's an article on Executorium about if an estate has guns. There's an article on Executorium about what if the house smells a little bit. In the last segment, you and I talked about squatters. Um, so knowing the ropes is incredibly valuable to an estate and an executor. Um, One thing we discussed was previously was the time periods. You break down probate and state administration into three time periods. Do you want to expound on that a little bit?
Yeah. The way I think of it is there's the pre-authorization period. There is the um, processing period, and then there's the post. So the pre-period looks like, uh, gee, we have a problem. Somebody passed, and some assets have to change ownership. I most commonly get involved when there's real estate. So how do you do that? And what do you do before you have authority? Um, so that includes getting the right strategy for the legal process. Sometimes that means an introduction to the right attorney. Sometimes it's a legal service to save money if it's a simple administrative case. Um, but also before you have the authority and can really spend money, protecting the assets. Sometimes it means changing the lock. Sometimes it means putting a fence up. You can mean a lot of different things, but you don't have the money perhaps. So there are people who can afford to advance the money, and some people can't. So one of the big parts of my job is the right strategy. How do we want to advance the money? Sometimes as an agent, I advance it as part of my business. Sometimes we advance money to the heir. Sometimes they want additional money and we can advance them an extra $5,000 or $10,000. So there's that part of the process. Then second is during the um, probate or administrative process, complying with the legal requirements, working with the attorneys. I think that attorneys by their nature aren't salespeople, and yet, the glue that holds the deals together sometimes is communication and the sales. And so as a realtor, I'll follow up in a case where an attorney won't. The biggest complaint I get from customers is that the attorneys don't communicate with them enough. And I think because by their nature, attorneys will, return your phone call within a week, because that's the normal time period for them. As real estate agents, we're going to call back within the hour or the same day. And so our job is to kind of help lubricate the transaction with the attorney to help the customer get what they need during the process. And then at the end is, what's the plan afterwards? Are you going to cash out and buy a house? Or are you going to cash out and and move on. And so those are the three phases that we try to work through.
Excellent. Thank you very much. Putting solid lines around that for an executor who's starting down this road is incredibly valuable. Um, the ancillary services, say just beyond the sale of the real property, are they charged outside of a commission?
They all vary, and I think that there are some real estate agents who have one way they do it every time. My approach is I'm a businessman, and it's to see what the customer needs and offer the right solution for them. So I can't speak for other agents, but like I said, I've done cases in the last year where I just advanced money and got paid back at the close of escrow. I've done other cases where I arranged for an advance or a loan for the heir, and they worked that out amongst themselves, but I made the introduction. So again, depends on, and some things we just pay for. So it really
Mhm.
depends on the case and the customer and the stage they're in. And so my answer would be personally, each solution is customized, but other people have a standard program. Like they'll always advance money, but they want to use their attorney and they want to use this and that, and which is fine. I think my approach is to be a little more flexible.
Good. Well, every estate is different. We say that over
Right.
and over again.
Right.
So, realizing that every service provider is different
Right.
is important to know for executors and proceed accordingly. Um, referrals, something I like to bring up here because if you're hiring, if you have somebody on your team and they're providing referrals, I think that's great because they're going to know the environment, they're going to know the locale.
Right.
I think it's important to ask, is a referral fee being paid? What is the relationship? I think though that's fair for an executor to know the answers to those questions.
Yeah. Well, in California, by law, we're required disclosing referral fees. So laws vary by state. To me, it just seems like good practice that, and I'll just say for the record, I don't accept any referral fees ever. I do a job, I refer you the best provider. If they don't do the job, I'll find another provider. I don't want a referral fee that might cause me to overlook the quality of the service. Now, I do expect that people I refer to business regularly will refer me business as well because I'm good at what I do. Um, but I don't like the idea of the referral fee. I think it clouds the judgment on what's best for the customer. I always train my team. The North Star is what's best for the customer, and that's the best vendor. And if the vendors want to do it for 25% less, rather than pay me, they should give the customer the discount. And I should just do my job and get paid for my job.
Well said. It's no accident that the logo for Executorium is a house turned over on its side, but it's also an arrow forward. So I think the CPE program is just a great resource to know about. I encourage executors to ask questions in every aspect of estate administration. You have to know that your, real estate professional is a business person, and uh, I think that just goes without saying. Bill, we thank you for your knowledge on this important topic. What is a certified probate expert and insights into the field of probate real estate? Thank you very much for watching all. Ask good questions.